I think it's more legitimate. I think it's more real because they're giving feedback.
And I want a good show, damn it. Ready for a good show?
Doing awesome, yeah. I'm excited to talk to you, Angie. Thank you for having me.
Yes!
I've always been doing big into archery, and my dad said, hey, you guys want to start an archery store?
That's how I always
Andrew, yes, of course, let's do this together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. Today, I am still your host. Shocker. I'm joined by David Dunne, who is the CEO over at Koh Gen Do. David, how you doing? You ready for a good show here?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I'm really looking forward to this one because you're in a space that I've done a lot of work in, and I know that it is very complicated and it is very difficult to stand out. And you have proven that you know exactly how to get through all the competition out there. So very excited to chat with you today. I like to do the kind of stereotypical thing and just kind of let you kick us off. Tell us a little bit about your background, more about Koh Gen Do, and we'll take it from there, okay?
Sure, absolutely. So thanks again for having me. I'm David Dunne, and I was in financial services for almost 30 years. And one of the things that I did in that role is I got on the boards of several different companies, and I got to see how the companies operate. And obviously, from a board level kind of perspective, I was always interested in the profit and loss and the balance sheet and how we were organized for sales and what's the distribution and where are we going and all that kind of stuff. So then I had the opportunity to get on Koh Gen Do's board. And there was something that was a little bit different here. Not only did they have a really unique value proposition and a unique hook into the market and to really tell their story, but they were just kind of fledgling still in the United States with a strong established base in Japan, where most of our products are manufactured.
Yeah. So flash forward to now, you're now the CEO. So
Yes.
You've taken over that spot. Are you solely focused on the U.S. side of things, or are you also overseeing Japan?
Not at all. We're in. We distribute today in 154 countries.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Explain the product line, because your cosmetics, beauty, that whole area, wildly competitive, difficult to break through. How are you differentiating yourself against your competition?
It's so true because, like many of the other brands out there, especially the big three or big four brands, we have skincare, we have makeup, we have color that we bring to the market. But what's different about us is the level and quality of the ingredients. The ingredients are extraordinarily high quality. They're from Japan. They're steeped in Japanese tradition. Like, for example, our makeup removers are primarily Japanese hot spring water, which is the highest mineral content in the world. And that Japanese hot spring water can bring other healing qualities to a woman's face when she removes her makeup. And it'll even take off waterproof mascara, which is really interesting for many women as they use that on a regular basis. It's hard to get that off. So instead of scrubbing their eyes, they can just use our stuff and just simply take it off, which is fantastic. Now, in addition to that, because we were started by a Japanese actress in the late 80s, and the company is, nearly 50 years old at this point, we are steeped in a tradition of people that wear skincare or use skincare and wear makeup on a regular basis. And from that perspective, the film and television industry has been big supporters of ours. And we have done over 1,000 film and television engagements with our products. Oh, wow. So we are skincare first, and then we have cosmetics and foundation and color that's based in skincare. So first and foremost, we want to treat your skin the best way possible. And then we want to enhance that beauty or provide additional coverage if necessary. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. How did you break in the film and television side of things is genius, right? Like that's not a common place that most of these brands without being massive, can really break into. How did you get into that? How did you guys discover that? Like, what's the benefit there?
Well, one of the ways that we did it is through the makeup artists. I mean, we just have great products. And when a makeup artist discovers that you have a great product, they want to use it on their client because they want to show off their own skills and use a great product on a beautiful canvas, like a woman's face, such as Oprah Winfrey or Jennifer Aniston or whoever. So some of the things that we've done recently, which include Daisy Jones and the Six, we have a Ghost, Abbott Elementary, The Changeling, Percy Jackson, you name it. We have a lot of different film and television expertise. And we go after that from working with the artists themselves, first and foremost. The artist is the one that's going to make the difference on the set. So we work with makeup department heads at the studios, at Paramount, Apple, CBS, etc. And then we work with the celebrities.
Did you ever think you would break into cosmetics and beauty when you were younger?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm a totally financial services kind of guy. But I'm really lucky to have assembled a team of fantastic people who really understand that industry. And more importantly, also understand skincare and cosmetics.
Yeah. How did you get appointed the CEO? How did that happen with the financial background? I mean, obviously the financial background helps, but
Yes. Well, we went through
cosmetics.
some basics of, what was going on with the business. Where was the sales group going? What was going on with distribution? How were we leveraging our film and television heritage? What were we doing in manufacturing? All of it began to come together. And because I had some operational background as well, that's really why they asked me to step up and do this.
Beautiful. What's one thing I've got to know, because obviously I'm on the marketing side. What's your approach there? I mean, beauty, cosmetics, skincare, like it's so crowded. So being able to really portray how differentiated the product line is, how you're in like film, television, all this fun stuff. Like, how are you kind of getting that message across to break through the mass amounts of competition out there?
Well, the first thing I'll say is that we're always working on it, right? I don't think you're ever done in a marketing type of mode. You can never be, stop and say, rest on my laurels here. We're done. We've reached our plateau. We want to stay here. So we keep going. And it is a multi-faceted approach. Everything from a pure e-commerce perspective, where we're going after the individual, SMS, emails, messaging, social media, and we're on 7 different channels at this point in time, to then on the B2B side, where we also takes our products into Macy's, Neiman Marcus, Coast to Coast, Saks Fifth Avenue, etc. And then how are we communicating with those stores and with those individuals? They're different kind of markets, right? Because I'm not sure that the shopper at Neiman Marcus is the same shopper at Macy's, is the same shopper as on my e-commerce website. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say is kind of the leading channels or strategies that you guys are focused on? I know you mentioned SMS in this area. I know influencer marketing can be a big thing. Social, obviously. Like, what tends to be that leader?
E-commerce, I would say that it's probably social is the number one thing. Because we do so much film and television, because we do so many celebrities, we get a lot of pictures and a lot of quotes and a lot of credits there. Instagram obviously is huge for us. TikTok is big for us. Facebook is big for us. So those are the types of things that we go after. But then, summarizing all that and putting it together in an email blast that we put out a couple of times a month to tell customers about how we're doing that celebrity look, that red carpet feel, what we just did in the latest movie or Dexter or whatever the episode is that we're working on. We want to tell them about that and how they can achieve that look as well. So we try to do that again for the consumer who's going directly after e-commerce, or for the person who's in the store who maybe is helping out different customers coming in.
Tell me a little bit about like all the different sales channels. You've listed many of them at this point. So you have your e-commerce store, you've got Neiman Marcus, Macy's, all these different ones. Like, what's that spread? What's the percentage? How much of that is catered to e-commerce? How much are you focused on the retail side? Like, give me a little bit of insight in there.
Yeah, the in-store, the business to business kind of directive really came when we wanted to start to get our name out there, because literally until your channel heard of us today and reached out to us, you probably never heard of Koh Gen Do ever before. But I bet you did hear of Estee Lauder and Coty and Unilever and some of the others that are major brands out there, Shiseido, etc.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So nobody's ever heard of Koh Gen Do. So I wanted to go in as many places as possible that I could get the name out there, because we do have the high quality, because we do have the celebrity attraction, because we do have the film and television, and because we do have the skin care foundation on everything that we do. So if I can be in store and a woman can find me in store as well as online, I think those become complementary and synergistic. Today's shopper is really very complex organization of how they make a decision. Are they going to make a decision because it's Amazon and it's free shipping that they paid for in Prime, and they probably forgot that they paid that annual fee in Prime? Or are they going to go after Macy's Star Points? Or are they going to go after In-Circle points in Neiman Marcus? Or do they really care about the loyalty points that maybe I offer directly on e-commerce? So we want to be where the customer is and how that I can get to those different sales channels. So that's really what drove us into both being in stores as well as e-commerce online.
Yeah.
My favorite channel is e-commerce online.
Oh, I bet. I'd imagine margins are probably much better, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
No
As
doubt
they
about
should
it.
be.
Right.
So obviously, the business has been around for about 50 years now, as you mentioned. Like,
Yes.
you guys have some seasoned professionals all running everything there. And then,
Yes.
of course,
Only about 5 years in the US, though. So we're fairly new.
That's okay. That's a
Yeah.
good point. Interesting. Actually, that's a interesting question. How's the marketing different here in the States versus what you're doing in Japan?
I would say that it's wider and more diverse, right? So in Japan, there's a little less diversity that they're embracing. Not that it's not there, it's just that there's not as much cultural impact into diversity as there is in the United States. Being in film and television in particular, we have tremendous diversity, and we're very proud of that. And so we have created specific things. In fact, Oprah Winfrey's makeup artist, Derek, who's a friend of mine, came with me to Japan, and we worked on specific shades for darker skins. And we are very proud of all of the different things that we have done over time to make sure that we have a broader palette and more diversity.
It's awesome. What I was thinking about originally, you have all these different international channels. You have all these different sales channels you have here in the States. Like, there's a lot going on. So you've obviously have this omni-channel approach, which is kind of that hot button topic that's getting, becoming sexier and sexier to use, just like AI. So it's like everyone's doing it, right? What's your theory on it, especially from an e-commerce perspective? Are you leveraging any of your marketing that's directing people to, let's say, something like an Amazon, or are you using Amazon as more of like a customer acquisition channel? Like, what's the approach to how you're spreading the wealth amongst all your sales channels?
It's really interesting, right? Because you also, as a business, I don't want to be dependent and have too much risk associated with one of those particular channels, right? Because I can actually put too many eggs in one basket, and if anything happens to that basket, I could have trouble over time. And we have seen that over time with stores that have gone out of business, where we used to have a significant presence. So we used to be in a great store called Barney's. And Barney's was a luxury department store, and it had many beautiful brands in there, but they went out of business and left many of us hanging. So, and then some stores change over time. So they decide to have a different focus, or they want to bring in their own products instead of third-party products, right? So instead of bringing Estee Lauder and Dior and Guerlain and the others in, they may want to have their own name brand in that particular store and in their distribution channel. So we, again, want to be where the customer is. And so my thing is, wherever the customer wants to be, I want to be there. So Amazon is a hugely important channel for us. We're part of Premium Luxury Beauty, which is invitation only, and we're very excited to be there. We have our own little storefront, Amazon.com/Koh Gen Do, so that's really cool. We distribute through them in Canada and Mexico as well, and some other countries. So, I think that if there's an Amazon preferred shopper who loves the Amazon experience, loves the shipping guarantees, loves the diversity of Amazon, I want to be there for that person. But for the woman that loves to go into Neiman Marcus and get that one-on-one luxury experience, the wider aisles and the special one-on-one treatment, I want to be there too.
How do you approach that from a pricing standpoint? Because while it's great to be everywhere that your customer is, places like Amazon have ridiculous fees sometimes, specifically for products that are under certain price points or that are a certain weight or anything. Like, how do you manage your pricing across the board? Do you keep it completely flat and the cost is the cost and you profit more in one area, or what's the thought there?
Well, our price is the same. The cost of our good, if you will, is the same across the board. So when we sell $100 foundation bottle, it's $100 at Neiman Marcus and Amazon and my channel as well. The difference, as you know, is the margin components and any other special deals that you make along the way. So what I try to do is keep those as level as possible and try to differentiate it amongst them. So in some channels, it's more oriented towards gift with purchase or other types of incentives. And other channels, it's just purely trying to give them the very best price, and there may be more sale opportunities. These days, and it's funny that you were joking about AI a minute ago, there are so many engines for AI against all of the different providers and the different places that we are, that they're constantly price checking each other against it. And so I have to remind them at times that, hey, this is in-circle days at Neiman Marcus, or this is their VIP point days at Macy's. It doesn't mean our prices changed. It just means that they're running a sale and they're making up the difference. So I won't fund the differences, just like I'm not paying directly for influencers because our product doesn't lend itself. I don't want to have that fake influencer type of persona or aura that sometimes comes around a brand that, you're good and people say you're good only because you pay them. No. I'm not paying them for those kind of things. They're saying that we're good because we legitimately are good.
Yeah. And I would assume in your scenario, you're probably not doing too much from an influencer perspective because that's just coming with all TV and different movies and stuff that you guys are doing, correct?
It is. We could pay for more. There's no doubt about it. But because we have a high quality product, because we work directly with the artists, because we work directly with the studios, you're right. We get some natural feedback as a result of that. So if I don't have to pay for that, I don't want to pay for that. And I think it's more legitimate. I think it's more real because they're giving feedback. And I have a whole section on my website called Artist Voice, where you can go to that it's the very, very bottom of the page, Artist Voice, and you can see all the movie things and all the TV things, and you'll see quotes from those people. Well, I didn't pay them for that. They gave me those quotes because they're legit and because they really do feel that way. And I'm really proud of that.
I mean, I
love those words.
Yeah, I mean that's the dream, right? I think the great thing about that too is like there are times where I can tell the users are really starting to, all customers are really starting to like just not trust influencers like they used to because they're all clearly biased or they're just peddling a product that they haven't even tried themselves. And so to have those like true reviews of like, no, they're not paying me, I literally just use this all the time, has got to be a lot more beneficial.
It is a lot more beneficial, and not only in conveying that message, but also one-on-one conversations, because a lot of beauty happens one-on-one, whether it's in the store or in gatherings of women and men who are using our products. That storytelling and that understanding is really important, and having the authenticity and the legitimacy of, we're not buying words from these film and television people, from the celebrities. We were thrilled to work with the artist to be on the cover of People recently with Kelly Clarkson. Well, we didn't pay Kelly and she didn't pay us and we didn't pay the makeup artist. They legitimately chose us because we're one of the best products out there.
Yeah. The amount of stuff you guys have going on, all the different marketing elements, all the different sales channels, both online and offline. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yes.
And when you get to a business, I'm sure you're feeling it. When you get to a business of that size, like it's very difficult to just think of something and execute it. Like you really have to have that kind of like end-to-end thinking throughout everything and really like plan before you execute. What's your like mantra on when you're like, hey, this seems like an area we should go into? How do you look at the planning? How do you look at the execution before just hitting a button and doing it?
Yeah, and that planning and execution is a longer cycle than people think that it is. There's no doubt about it. So let me talk about a couple of those different cycles. From a marketing perspective, I think that it's usually a 90-day and then it's modified about 45 days out, right? So I try to have our marketing team, and they do a great job. I'm lucky to have great team members there. I try to have our marketing team fully scheduled from a social perspective and all of the things that we're going to do at least 45 days in advance. Because we really there's just too much to get through on a day-to-day grind to know that we're not sure what's going to happen at the end of the month and what our promotion is and when the emails are going to go and what the text messages are going to say and all of those kind of things. From a product perspective, I would say that it's more like an 18 to 24 month time frame, mainly because we are sourcing our own ingredients, number one, Japanese hot spring water, and then we're manufacturing that whole piece. We're paying for the manufacturing and the containers along the way. We're doing it in multi-language, right? So it's in Japanese and it's in English or whatever. And then we're distributing it. We're shipping it to the United States. And then we're selling it hopefully to ourselves through e-commerce, through Amazon, through whatever. And then we're getting it into the warehouses and into the stores. And then we're getting it into the ladies' hands. So one of the things that we really wanted to do is focus on the quality of our ingredients, that they're at least 36 to 48 months shelf life, which is different than most of the beauty brands. Most of the beauty brands have much shorter shelf life, but we wanted to make sure that we had a good amount of time to get it out there. And also, who wants to bring home a product and find out that it expires in a month or two? You want to fully use that product until it's gone.
Yeah. Very cool. David, thank you so much for being on the show. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're super busy because, as we said, you've got a lot going on. I'd love to give you the opportunity here to let everyone know where they can find out more about you and, of course, more about Koh Gen Do.
Thank you very much. Go to KohGenDoCosmetics.com. That's KOHGENDO Cosmetics.com. And our website has all the information that you'll need.
Love it. David, thank you so much for being on the show. Everyone who tuned in, of course, thank you as well. Please make sure you do the usual, rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff on whichever podcast platform you prefer, or head over to ecommshow.com to check out all of our previous episodes. But as usual, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the E-Comm Show. Head over to ecommshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The E-Comm Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of The E-Comm Show.